revolutionizing transportation and machinery. The invention of the wheel marks one of the most transformative milestones in human history. Emerging from the need to improve transportation and mechanical efficiency, the wheel catalyzed a wave of innovations that reshaped how societies moved, worked, and interacted with the physical world. Though simple in form, the wheel remains a cornerstone of technological progress. Before the wheel, early humans used sledges and dragging techniques to move goods, methods that were inefficient and labor-intensive. The invention of the wheel dramatically improved transport efficiency. The earliest known wheel, dating to around 3500 BCE in Mesopotamia, was not originally used for transportation, but for pottery. The potter's wheel marked the first controlled use of rotational mechanics, allowing for more symmetrical ceramics. Transitioning from pottery wheels to transport carts required major innovations, including the development of axles, the reduction of friction, and the use of durable materials. Early transport wheels were solid wooden discs, which eventually evolved into spoked versions, reducing weight while maintaining strength. This advancement enabled more practical vehicles such as carts and chariots, which greatly improved civilian and military mobility. The introduction of wheeled transport revolutionized commerce. Roads became the backbone of trade, allowing for the rapid exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. Cities grew along these transport routes, and empires expanded as the wheel enhanced the mobility of armies and resources. In agriculture, the wheel had a similarly transformative effect. Wheeled plows allowed farmers to cultivate larger areas with less effort. As agriculture advanced, wheeled machines like seed drills and threshers boosted productivity, leading to food surpluses that supported population growth and urbanization. Mechanically, the wheel laid the foundation for modern engineering. The principles of rotational motion gave rise to gears, pulleys, and other mechanical systems. Water wheels and windmills used wheel technology to convert natural energy into mechanical force, powering grain mills and early textile machines. These applications laid the groundwork for the Industrial Revolution. During the 18th century Industrial Revolution, the wheel became central to steam engines, locomotives, and factory machinery. The flywheel, for instance, stored rotational energy to regulate machine speed. Trains with iron wheels on steel rails revolutionized transportation, enabling the mass movement of goods and people, and reshaping economies and societies. In the 19th century, the bicycle introduced a new application of the wheel. Lightweight and efficient, bicycles offered personal mobility and played a role in social movements, including women's rights. The spoked rubber-tired wheel of the bicycle influenced future vehicle designs. The emergence of the automobile elevated the wheel's importance. Cars introduced rubber pneumatic tires, improving comfort and traction. Combined with the internal combustion engine, wheels enabled unprecedented personal and commercial mobility. Roads, cities, and societies were transformed as the automobile became a global symbol of freedom and progress. Air travel also relies on wheels for taxiing, takeoff, and landing. Aircraft wheels face challenges like shock absorption and heat resistance, leading to innovations in materials and design. Even space exploration depends on wheels. Rovers on the Moon and Mars use specially engineered wheels to traverse extraterrestrial terrain. In manufacturing, wheels are essential in conveyor belts, turbines, and robotic arms, powering automation with speed and precision. Though often hidden, these rotating components are vital to the efficiency of modern industrial processes. Culturally, the wheel symbolizes continuity, progress, and life cycles. It appears in religious, philosophical, and national emblems, reflecting both technological and spiritual significance. Technologically, wheels continue to evolve. Advanced materials like carbon fiber and polymers enhance strength and performance, especially in high-stakes fields like motorsports and adaptive athletics. In the digital era, wheels remain relevant. Robotics and automated vehicles rely on wheel-based mobility for efficient navigation. Even user interfaces adopt the wheel's circular form in menus and controls. Urban infrastructure, from highways to roundabouts, centers around wheeled transportation. As sustainability concerns grow, innovations like low-resistance tires and regenerative braking aim to reduce environmental impact. Precision agriculture now uses GPS-guided tractors with optimized wheel movement, maximizing yields while minimizing waste. Across all sectors, the wheel adapts to meet changing needs. From Mesopotamian potter's wheels to Martian rovers, the wheel's journey mirrors human progress. The wheel endures not only as a practical tool, but as a symbol of ingenuity and innovation. As technology advances and societies evolve, the wheel remains central to motion and machinery, a timeless invention that continues to shape the world. Electricity, powering the modern world. Electricity, an invisible yet powerful force of nature, is central to modern civilization. From a mysterious phenomenon to a cornerstone of daily life, its evolution has profoundly shaped human progress. In ancient times, electricity was observed but not understood. Lightning and the static attraction of objects were wonders without explanation, often viewed through superstition. Scientific study began in the 17th and 18th centuries. William Gilbert introduced the term electricus, laying the groundwork for future exploration. Benjamin Franklin's famous kite experiment proved lightning to be electrical, changing perceptions dramatically. Luigi Galvani's work with bioelectricity and Alessandro Volta's invention of the voltaic pile, the first battery, marked electricity's transformation into a usable power source. The 19th century sparked revolutionary progress. Michael Faraday's discovery of electromagnetic induction led to electric generators, making electricity production viable. James Clerk Maxwell's equations unified electricity and magnetism, forming electromagnetic theory's basis. The war of the currents between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla shaped distribution. Edison promoted direct current, DC, while Tesla's alternating current, AC, proved more efficient, becoming the standard. As the 20th century began, electricity fueled industrial expansion. Factories used electric power for efficiency and flexibility. Cities transformed with electric trams, lights, and elevators. Households welcomed devices like washing machines, irons, and radios, revolutionizing domestic life. Communication evolved from telegraphs to telephones to televisions, bringing information and entertainment into homes. The digital revolution later in the century further expanded electricity's role. Computers, data centers, and global communication networks became ubiquitous, increasing demand. New energy sources like nuclear and hydroelectric power joined fossil fuels. Electricity became essential to nearly every aspect of life and progress. Electrification also enabled social and economic transformation. Rural programs brought power to remote areas, improving education, healthcare, and agriculture. Clinics gained refrigeration and diagnostic tools. Communities saw longer productive hours. Electricity emerged not just as a utility, but a driver of opportunity and equity. Scientific progress flourished. Labs used electricity to explore physics, chemistry, and biology. Technologies like X-rays and MR is transformed medicine. Space exploration, powered by electricity, enabled achievements like the moon landings and the International Space Station. The 21st century presents new challenges. Chief among them is electricity's environmental impact from fossil fuels. Climate concerns have driven a shift toward renewable sources like wind, solar, and geothermal energy. Smart grids and storage technologies are making infrastructure more sustainable and efficient. This shift is also cultural, moving from consumption to conservation. Electrification of transport marks another shift. Electric vehicles are going mainstream, reducing emissions and oil reliance. Governments and industries are investing in clean mobility, with innovations in charging and battery tech. Electric transport includes not only cars, but also buses, trains, and experimental aircraft, promising quieter, cleaner cities. In developing regions, off-grid solar and mini-grid systems bring power to areas beyond traditional infrastructure. These systems support entrepreneurship, education, and resilience, placing electricity at the core of sustainable development goals. Access to power continues to drive poverty reduction and human advancement. Electricity also reshapes cultural and psychological dimensions. It blurs day and night, extends productivity, and compresses distance via real-time communication. It powers digital tools that transform learning, art, and interaction. Yet blackouts remind us how deeply electricity is woven into society. The future lies in innovation, resilience, and equity. As populations grow and climate threats rise, the need for clean, reliable power increases. Emerging technologies, fusion, wireless transmission, quantum computing, may redefine possibilities, but policy, ethics, and sustainability must guide this future. Public awareness is vital. Knowing how electricity works and where it comes from empowers informed decisions. Through efficient habits and support for renewables, individuals help shape the energy future. Electricity's journey, from ancient curiosity to a symbol of progress, reflects human ambition. It powers not just homes and machines, but possibilities and shared futures. As we approach new frontiers, electricity remains essential, a tool and testament to human potential. The printing press, spreading knowledge across the globe. The invention of the printing press marked a pivotal turning point in human history, revolutionizing the spread of knowledge and transforming civilization. Before its advent, the transmission of information was slow and limited to elite circles. Manuscripts were laboriously copied by hand, primarily in monasteries, making books rare, costly, and error-prone. As a result, literacy rates were low, and knowledge remained concentrated among the clergy, nobility, and scholars. The printing press changed this dynamic, democratizing access to information and reshaping society. Invented by Johannes Gutenberg in mid-15th century Mainz, Germany, the printing press used movable metal type to reproduce text efficiently and accurately. This breakthrough enabled the mass production of books, reducing costs and ensuring textual consistency. Gutenberg's 42-line Bible symbolized this transformative era, showing that the press could preserve and disseminate profound spiritual and intellectual works far more effectively than ever before. With printed materials circulating more widely, literacy rates gradually rose. Books became more affordable, making reading accessible to a broader public. Education expanded beyond the privileged, with schools and universities multiplying. The press met the rising demand for textbooks and academic materials, enabling intellectual growth across social strata. Each printed word invited new readers, sparking critical thinking and discourse, and laying the groundwork for cultural shifts. The Renaissance was among the major movements accelerated by the printing press. Artists, scientists, and philosophers gained access to classical texts that had once been scarce. Works by thinkers such as Aristotle and Euclid were reprinted and distributed, fueling a revival of inquiry and creativity. Knowledge spread rapidly across borders, igniting dialogue between distant communities and ushering in an age of discovery. Equally transformative was the role of the printing press in the Protestant Reformation. Martin Luther harnessed its power to circulate his 95 Theses and other works, challenging church authority. Pamphlets and translated Bibles reached common people, allowing them to engage directly with Scripture. This broke the Church's monopoly on religious knowledge, inspiring theological debate and spiritual empowerment. The press also influenced governance and civic life. As information became more accessible, public awareness of political and economic issues grew. Newspapers and pamphlets fostered civic engagement and public opinion. Governments, now subject to scrutiny by literate citizens, faced increasing demands for transparency. Print became a tool of advocacy, catalyzing movements for reform, justice, and representation. In addition, the press helped standardize languages. Previously, regional dialects and inconsistent spelling hindered communication. Printed text unified grammar and vocabulary, fostering linguistic cohesion and aiding in forming national identities. This nurtured literary growth, as writers could reach wider audiences, and their works could endure across generations. Literature expanded beyond religious and scholarly texts, encompassing poetry, drama, fiction, and philosophy. Commerce also benefited significantly. Printing enabled swift, reliable production of business records, maps, and manuals. Merchants accessed information on trade routes and markets, boosting efficiency and profitability. Contracts and legal texts supported transparency and fair transactions, helping establish rule of law systems and enabling the rise of capitalist economies. Scientific progress surged as well. Scientists could publish and share discoveries, fostering collaboration and competition. The scientific revolution was propelled by printed works explaining instruments and findings, such as those by Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton. The press preserved scientific knowledge, advancing empirical research and shaping modern science. However, the printing revolution introduced challenges. The volume of information could overwhelm readers, and not all printed material was accurate. Propaganda and misinformation spread alongside truth. Authorities imposed censorship, but efforts to suppress print often met resistance. Underground presses and coded texts emerged, proving that the flow of knowledge could not be easily controlled. As printing spread globally, it adapted to diverse cultural contexts. While movable type existed in Asia, Gutenberg's press brought new efficiencies. In colonial settings, printing served both domination and resistance. Indigenous peoples used the press to preserve languages and assert identity, showing its power as both tool of control and liberation. Even in the digital age, print retains its relevance. Books and newspapers remain valued for their permanence, trustworthiness, and tactile experience. The printing press remains a lasting symbol of enlightenment, progress, and transformation. Proof that technology can reshape how humanity communicates, learns, and thinks. The Internet connecting the world. From the dawn of civilization, communication has driven human progress. From smoke signals to postal systems, each era introduced innovations to bridge distances. Yet no advancement has revolutionized connectivity like the Internet. Its reach transcends geography, language, and culture, creating links once thought impossible. This global network is the result of scientific breakthroughs, government initiatives, and private innovation. The Internet's origins trace back to the Cold War, when information security and rapid communication were critical. The US Department of Defense funded ARPANET, a decentralized communication system designed to survive disruptions. Instead of relying on a single point, ARPANET used multiple pathways to maintain data flow. In 1969, the first ARPANET message, just 2 letters, was sent between UCLA and Stanford before crashing. Still, it marked the start of a revolution. Throughout the 1970s, ARPANET expanded among universities, showcasing packet switching, which broke data into smaller packets sent through different routes. This technique increased efficiency and became fundamental to future networks. The shift to the modern Internet occurred with the creation of Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, TCP/IP, by Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn. These standardized how data traveled across networks. On January 1st, 1983, ARPANET adopted TCP/IP, enabling different networks to merge and communicate as one. The birth of the Internet. During the 1980s, the Internet remained largely within academia and government. That changed with the World Wide Web. In 1989, Tim Berners-Lee proposed a system to access linked documents through a graphical interface. By 1991, the web was public, offering user-friendly navigation via browsers. Early tools like Mosaic and Netscape made the Internet accessible to everyday users, turning it into a household utility. By the mid-1990s, websites exploded in number, offering news, shopping, and more. Companies like Amazon and eBay redefined commerce, while search engines like Yahoo and Google made information instantly available. The Internet democratized knowledge, empowering people worldwide. Communication transformed. Email became mainstream, while instant messaging connected users in real time, shrinking global distances. Relationships thrived online, and communities formed around interests rather than geography. As broadband replaced dial-up, access speed improved. Streaming media and user-generated content flourished. Platforms like YouTube blurred the line between creator and consumer. Social media sites such as Facebook and Twitter changed how people shared ideas and participated in public discourse. These platforms became tools for advocacy. The Arab Spring showed how digital tools could inspire real-world change. Online communities amplified underrepresented voices. Education evolved as online platforms offered world-class courses, enabling remote learning and reshaping traditional models, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Healthcare was transformed too. Telemedicine enabled remote consultations, and digital records improved care. Researchers shared data rapidly, accelerating breakthroughs in genomics and public health. Wellness content became widely accessible, empowering informed choices. Cloud computing revolutionized business, enabling global collaboration and remote work. Freelancers joined the global economy using digital platforms. The Internet also enabled cultural exchange. Artists shared work worldwide, bypassing traditional gatekeepers. Endangered traditions found digital preservation. Yet challenges emerged. Privacy concerns, misinformation, and digital addiction demanded attention. Cybersecurity, harassment, and surveillance became major concerns. Policymakers struggled to balance openness with accountability. The digital divide persisted. Billions still lacked access. Bridging this gap became essential. The Internet evolved further with the Internet of Things, IoT. connecting smart devices to optimize daily life. Artificial intelligence and machine learning leveraged online data for automation and personalization. Blockchain introduced decentralized systems, while virtual and augmented reality promised immersive experiences. Satellite networks aim to bring internet access to remote regions. This connectivity continues to shape identity and society. Digital natives grow up fluent in online spaces. Generational divides shrink as older users adapt. Language barriers fade with a real-time translation. The internet fosters a shared consciousness. Billions of perspectives connected. But with this power comes responsibility. Users must act with empathy and integrity. As AI and algorithms shape experience, ethics must guide development. From ARPANET's modest origins to today's hyper-connected world, the internet reflects humanity's drive for connection and innovation. It is not just a tool, but a mirror, a bridge, and a canvas for the future. Vaccination, the fight against deadly diseases. Throughout history, infectious diseases have profoundly shaped societies. Vaccination, one of the greatest medical innovations, has become central to combating these deadly threats. Rooted in science and driven by public necessity, vaccines have revolutionized public health by preventing suffering and saving millions of lives. The journey began in the 18th century with smallpox, a disease feared for its high mortality and disfigurement. Edward Jenner, an English physician, discovered that milkmaids who contracted cowpox were immune to smallpox. In 1796, he inoculated a boy with cowpox and later exposed him to smallpox. The boy remained healthy. This experiment laid the groundwork for immunology and introduced the idea of using a related pathogen to train the immune system. As science advanced, vaccines for rabies, diphtheria, tetanus, polio, measles, and others followed. These breakthroughs transformed healthcare, allowing nations to control once devastating diseases. A pinnacle of success came in 1980 when smallpox was declared eradicated. Polio has nearly met the same fate thanks to global vaccination campaigns. Vaccines not only protect individuals, but also contribute to herd immunity. When enough people are immunized, disease transmission slows, protecting even those who cannot be vaccinated. This highlights vaccination as both a personal choice and a public good. However, vaccine hesitancy remains a challenge. Misinformation, mistrust, and fear of side effects have fueled resistance, sometimes leading to disease resurgence. Public health efforts have focused on transparent communication, education, and engaging communities to build trust. Health professionals play a crucial role as trusted voices guiding informed decisions. Technological advancements have improved vaccine safety and efficacy. Innovations like mRNA technology and recombinant proteins allow faster responses to emerging threats, as seen during the COVID-19 pandemic. The rapid development of COVID-19 vaccines, especially mRNA-based ones, showcase the power of modern science and global cooperation. Vaccine distribution, especially during crises, depends on cold chain logistics, funding, infrastructure, and geopolitics. Organizations like Gavi and UNICEF have worked to ensure equitable access for low-income countries, recognizing that no one is safe until everyone is. Vaccination also drives social progress. Healthy children are more likely to attend school, and healthy adults contribute more to the economy. Thus, immunization is not just a health tool. It's an investment in human potential and societal resilience. Yet challenges persist. Emerging diseases, climate change, and global mobility demand constant vigilance. Surveillance systems managed by WHO and CDC track outbreaks and mutations in real time, enabling faster responses. Trust and information sharing among nations are vital for this process to work. Education is key to sustaining vaccination. Understanding how vaccines function builds public confidence. Scientific literacy helps combat misinformation and fosters a culture of health responsibility. Equally important is affordability. Many countries still face barriers in purchasing and administering vaccines. Global efforts must ensure all populations have access. Future innovations include needle-free delivery, microarray patches, and oral vaccines. Technologies aimed at simplifying immunization and improving reach. Researchers are also working on universal vaccines, like those targeting all influenza strains or multiple coronaviruses. These could dramatically improve global preparedness. Digital health records and artificial intelligence are opening the door to personalized vaccination, tailoring schedules and doses to individual needs. Meanwhile, vaccine diplomacy, sharing and co-developing vaccines, can strengthen international ties, while hoarding can deepen divides. Vaccination is important across all ages. Adult immunizations for HPV, shingles, and pneumonia are gaining recognition, highlighting vaccines' role beyond childhood. Older adults benefit from booster shots that protect them during vulnerable periods. Environmental sustainability is also entering the vaccine discussion. Green manufacturing, recyclable packaging, and sustainable storage aim to reduce ecological impacts of immunization programs. Ethically, vaccination raises issues of consent, prioritization, and equity. Transparency, informed consent, and fair access are critical to maintaining legitimacy. Pharmaceutical companies must balance innovation with affordability, and partnerships with public institutions can align business interests with public health needs. In crisis zones, vaccines play a humanitarian role, preventing outbreaks amid displacement and poor sanitation. Mobile units and emergency campaigns are crucial. Gender dynamics also matter. Empowering women boosts vaccine uptake, while women in science and healthcare lead vital efforts in policy and education. Cultural sensitivity must guide vaccination strategies. Respecting local beliefs, working with community leaders, and tailoring messages are essential for sustainable programs. In conclusion, vaccination is not just a medical act, but a moral imperative. It protects life, reduces suffering, and unites humanity in a shared goal. While many diseases have been controlled, the journey continues. By investing in science, fostering trust, and promoting equity, we ensure that vaccination remains a beacon of hope for generations to come. The telephone bridging long-distance communication. The telephone, one of the most transformative inventions in history, reshaped how people connect across distances. Emerging in the mid-19th century, a time of rapid technological growth, it addressed the growing demand for faster, more reliable communication. Before its invention, long-distance contact relied on letters and telegraphs. Letters were slow and uncertain, while telegraphs required expertise and infrastructure. The telephone changed that by enabling voice transmission, bringing immediacy and emotion to communication. Alexander Graham Bell is most associated with inventing the telephone, securing the first patent in 1876 for a device transmitting vocal sounds via electrical signals. Though others, like Elisha Gray, pursued similar technologies, Bell's working prototype and public demonstrations captured imaginations. His invention enabled real-time voice communication across miles, revolutionizing human interaction by allowing spontaneous and emotionally rich conversations. Early reactions to the telephone were skeptical. Many saw it as a novelty with limited practical use. But as technology improved and networks expanded, perceptions shifted. Switchboards and operators allowed users to connect locally and later across long distances. Businesses were early adopters, using it to coordinate operations, close deals, and stay competitive. What began as a marvel became a business essential, reshaping commerce. Soon, telephone lines spanned cities, countries, and continents. Undersea cables enabled international calls by the early 20th century. Though these were initially rare and costly, the telephone also became a social tool. Families and friends separated by distance could now stay connected, preserving emotional ties. Voice conveyed tone and feeling, enriching communication beyond what written words could offer. Technological advances steadily improved the telephone. The rotary dial gave way to touch-tone keypads. Analog systems evolved into digital networks, boosting clarity and reliability. Cordless phones brought mobility at home, and answering machines added convenience. Each improvement made communication easier and brought people closer, further embedding the telephone into daily life. During crises and wars, the telephone was vital. Governments, militaries, and aid groups relied on it to coordinate efforts. Personally, it was a lifeline. Help could be summoned, urgent news shared, or comfort given with a simple call. Its immediacy became an essential part of modern life. Behind the scenes, telephony infrastructure evolved dramatically. Exchanges became automated, eliminating the need for operators. Microwave towers and satellites extended signal reach, making global connectivity routine. Though invisible to users, these innovations ensured reliability and global access. Culturally, the telephone had deep effects. It changed social behavior and expectations. People got used to real-time communication and constant availability. New etiquette emerged around calling. The phone became a household fixture, often placed prominently. In literature and media, it symbolized everything from connection to suspense. The rise of mobile phones in the late 20th century launched a new era. Early models were bulky, but soon became compact and affordable. Freed from fixed locations, people could stay connected anywhere. Waiting by the phone became obsolete. Mobile phones revolutionized organization, business, and relationships. They also gained new functions: texting, internet access, apps, though voice remained central. Despite the growth of messaging and social media, voice calls retain unique value. Hearing someone's voice can resolve conflicts, convey empathy, and strengthen bonds. In business, calls still carry urgency and authority, maintaining the telephone's relevance. The telephone did more than transmit sound. It transformed society. It shrank distances and brought people closer emotionally and intellectually. It empowered individuals, expanded global awareness, and fostered a more interconnected world. Each innovation, from clearer signals to mobile freedom, reflected the human desire to connect more deeply. As technology evolves toward VoIP, video calls, and AI assistance, the telephone's legacy continues. Its principles of immediacy, accessibility, and human connection will shape future innovations. Whether through digital tools or emerging technologies like augmented reality, the telephone's spirit endures. It reminds us that communication is about more than data. It's about presence, emotion, and shared experience. From Bell's early invention to modern smartphones, the telephone stands as a symbol of human ingenuity and our deep need for connection. The airplane shrinking the world. The invention of the airplane marks one of the most transformative milestones in human history. From its early 20th century beginnings to today's vast global air network, the airplane has dramatically changed how we perceive distance, borders, and time. It has not only enabled faster travel, but also reshaped societies, economies, and geopolitics. The story of flight is about more than engineering. It's about imagination, persistence, and the human desire to transcend limits. In the early 1900s, the idea of crossing continents in hours seemed impossible. Long-distance travel was slow and limited to ships or trains, making international interaction a luxury. But in 1903, the Wright brothers' 12-second flight at Kitty Hawk launched a new era. Early aviation was basic, yet it inspired inventors and adventurers, giving rise to a new industry that would eventually shrink the vastness of the planet. After World War I, aircraft began transitioning from military tools to civilian assets. Airmail became one of the first practical uses, reducing communication times. This marked a change in how people viewed movement and connection. During the 1920s and 1930s, commercial airlines started offering passenger services. Though initially expensive, they paved the way for more accessible air travel. World War II accelerated aviation technology. Post-war, these innovations led to rapid growth in commercial aviation. The jet age began in the 1950s, with planes like the Boeing 707 making transatlantic travel possible in hours. This era laid the foundation for modern global travel. The growth of aviation transformed global culture and economy. Isolated cities became part of international commerce and tourism. Businesses now operate across continents in real time, and diplomacy evolved with leaders meeting in person quickly. Aviation helped build a global economy that thrives on speed and connectivity. Tourism changed dramatically. Airplanes allowed people to explore distant cultures, encouraging exchange and understanding. Middle-class travelers joined the once elite world of international tourism. Cities with major airports flourished as global hubs of activity. Economically, aviation created massive industries: aircraft manufacturing, logistics, airport operations, and air traffic control. Air freight transformed supply chains, making rapid delivery across continents possible. Businesses now source materials globally and sell worldwide, enabled by air travel. Socially, the airplane redefined relationships. Families split by oceans can reunite within a day. International education, marriages, and collaborations have become common. Geographic isolation has decreased, enriching societies through interaction. Militarily, airplanes reshaped warfare and global strategy. Air superiority became a key factor in conflicts, and aviation played roles in defense and humanitarian aid. Aircraft deliver relief to disaster zones quickly, showing aviation's power for compassion as well as conflict. Symbolically, the airplane stands for ambition and progress. It has inspired countless works of art, symbolizing freedom and discovery. The ability to fly turned an ancient dream into reality. As technology evolves, aviation continues to push boundaries towards sustainability, faster travel, and even space. Yet the environmental cost of aviation is significant. Increased traffic contributes to carbon emissions and climate change. Addressing this is a priority, with advances in fuel efficiency, alternative energy, and better air traffic systems. The future must balance global connectivity with sustainability. Access to aviation remains unequal. Many in less developed areas lack the infrastructure to benefit. Budget airlines and regional carriers aim to close this gap and make air travel more inclusive. The airplane has changed our view of time and space. Where journeys once took weeks, now a flight takes hours. Business people attend meetings across countries in a day. Artists, researchers, and students connect across continents. The airplane has made the world feel smaller. Airports have become gateways where languages, cultures, and customs mix. These hubs manage millions of passengers and complex logistics daily, reflecting the scope of global movement. Innovation in aviation continues. Supersonic jets, green energy, autonomous aircraft, and space travel are advancing. Each step brings us closer, while tackling environmental and technical challenges. Ultimately, the airplane's greatest gift is not just speed, it's connection. It bridges oceans and cultures, supports dreams, and fosters shared humanity. It has shrunk the world and brought us closer together. The computer, transforming work and life. The computer, a marvel of modern invention, has fundamentally reshaped human life, altering how we work, live, communicate, and perceive the world. From room-sized machines to indispensable tools in every home and pocket, computers have evolved dramatically. This transformation is not just about hardware and software, but about how humanity has adapted to its own innovation. Early digital computers of the mid-20th century were massive machines used by governments and scientists for complex calculations. Designed for military, astronomical, and mathematical applications, these behemoths were far removed from today's personal devices. Few imagined these machines would eventually become essential in daily life. The personal computer revolution of the late 20th century marked a cultural shift. Offices moved from typewriters and filing cabinets to monitors and laptops. Tasks that once took hours were now done in minutes. Spreadsheets replaced manual bookkeeping, boosting efficiency and accuracy. Every sector began embracing digital tools. In manufacturing, computer-driven automation modernized production. While robotics raised fears of job loss, they also created new careers in software, IT, and systems management. The demand for digital literacy grew, making lifelong learning essential in the evolving workforce. Beyond work, computers revolutionized personal organization. Digital calendars, emails, and task managers streamlined daily life. Communication shifted dramatically. Emails overtook letters, instant messages replaced calls, and video conferencing eliminated distance. Relationships flourished virtually, and digital presence became as vital as physical proximity. The Internet, born from computing innovation, turned computers into portals of knowledge and interaction. Learning was democratized. Students in remote areas gained access to the same resources as those in cities. Education expanded beyond classrooms, and informal learning thrived. Social life migrated online. Forums, social media, and virtual communities formed around shared interests, not geography. People expressed identities, shared milestones, and engaged globally. This digital expression introduced new norms, blurred lines between public and private, permanent digital footprints, and the need for online etiquette. Creativity also transformed. Artists used digital tools for painting, music, and film. Writers published directly to global audiences. Designers modeled architecture and products with advanced software. Technology didn't replace art. It expanded its boundaries and enabled new forms of collaboration. In healthcare, computers brought revolutionary changes. Electronic health records, robotic-assisted surgeries, and AI-driven diagnostics improved accuracy and outcomes. Telemedicine connected patients with specialists across distances. Computers became partners in care amplifying human capability. Education underwent parallel evolution. Digital classrooms, interactive software, and personalized learning empowered both teachers and students. Progress could be tracked precisely, and content delivered in diverse formats, from videos to games, enhanced engagement. Computers enriched learning rather than replacing teaching. Economically, computers enabled globalization. Businesses operated across time zones, managed supply chains digitally, and expanded through e-commerce. Financial systems relied on computing power, processing transactions at lightning speed. Yet, these gains brought challenges: data privacy, access inequality, and regulation. At home, computers became hubs of utility and entertainment. Streaming services, smart devices, and instant information reshaped family life. Homes grew more connected and responsive, altering how people interacted with their spaces and each other. Yet, this digital dominance raised concerns. Privacy, cybersecurity, and digital addiction became pressing. The more data collected, the greater the risk. Constant connectivity affected real-world relationships. Ethical design, responsible use, and legal frameworks are crucial. Artificial intelligence pushes computing into new frontiers. From virtual assistants to autonomous vehicles, machines now learn and adapt, sometimes surpassing humans. These advances promise efficiency, but raise questions about bias, autonomy, and jobs. Computers are no longer mere tools. They are agents of change. Governance has transformed too. Digital systems streamline administration, improve transparency, and enhance citizen services. However, they risk surveillance and loss of freedom. Balancing convenience with control requires vigilance. For the next generation, digital fluency is native. Children grow up with screens, shaping how they learn and relate. Education must prepare them for roles not yet imagined. The future depends on how we guide digital literacy toward well-being. Emerging technologies, quantum computing, augmented reality, neural interfaces, suggest deeper integration of digital and physical worlds. The challenge is not only technical, but human. Ensuring technology enhances life, not dominates it. In conclusion, the computer is more than an invention. It is a transformative force. It bridges minds and machines, potential and reality. As it becomes ever more embedded in life, we must guide its use with equity, sustainability, and humanity. Penicillin, a breakthrough in medical science. Penicillin stands as one of the most transformative discoveries in the history of medicine. Its emergence revolutionized the treatment of bacterial infections and saved countless lives. Derived from a mold, this antibiotic represents a scientific triumph and highlights the unexpected ways nature can help in combating disease. The story of penicillin began in 1928, when Alexander Fleming, a bacteriologist at St. Mary's Hospital in London, made a chance observation. While studying staphylococcal bacteria, he noticed that a mold, later identified as Penicillium notatum, had contaminated one of his petri dishes. Around the mold, the bacterial colonies had been destroyed. Fleming realized the mold produced a substance capable of killing many bacteria, and he named it penicillin. However, Fleming could not isolate or purify penicillin effectively. It wasn't until the late 1930s and early 1940s that a team at the University of Oxford, Howard Florey, Ernst Boris Chain, and Norman Heatley, succeeded in refining and mass-producing the substance. Their work marked the true turning point in transforming penicillin into a practical medical treatment. The onset of World War II added urgency. Bacterial infections were a leading cause of death among soldiers, and penicillin offered a solution. Governments quickly recognized its potential and invested in large-scale production. The United States played a pivotal role in this effort, making penicillin widely available by the mid-1940s. This breakthrough helped treat soldiers and civilians alike, reducing mortality from previously deadly infections. Penicillin's success triggered the antibiotic revolution. For the first time, doctors had a reliable tool to fight bacterial diseases such as pneumonia, syphilis, gonorrhea, and streptococcal infections. Public health drastically improved as conditions that once caused widespread death became manageable. Beyond immediate medical use, penicillin transformed scientific research and pharmaceutical development. Its discovery underscored the value of natural products in drug discovery and prompted further exploration of fungi, soil bacteria, and other organisms. Fields like microbiology, pharmacology, and biochemistry flourished in search of new antibiotics. Penicillin's impact extended to public policy and healthcare systems. Governments began investing in medical research and created regulatory frameworks to oversee drug development. Public awareness campaigns promoted the benefits of antibiotics and emphasized responsible use. Hospitals adapted infection control measures, reshaping modern healthcare. However, penicillin's widespread use brought complications. Its success led to overuse and misuse, fueling the emergence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria. This phenomenon, known as antimicrobial resistance, remains one of the major challenges in contemporary medicine. It highlights the need for responsible antibiotic use and continued research for new treatments. Despite these issues, penicillin's legacy is overwhelmingly positive. It has saved millions of lives and improved quality of life across the globe. Its development showed the power of observation, collaboration, and perseverance in science. The fact that it emerged during a global conflict highlights how innovation can meet urgent human needs. Penicillin also shifted public perception of medicine. Before its discovery, bacterial infections were often untreatable and frightening. Penicillin changed that, fostering new confidence in science's ability to tackle disease. This mindset shift was instrumental in shaping modern medicine and society's trust in scientific progress. The story also offers a vital lesson in the unpredictability of discovery. Fleming did not set out to find an antibiotic. His breakthrough was accidental. Yet, curiosity and rigorous investigation followed. This demonstrates the value of being open to unexpected findings and maintaining scientific curiosity. International collaboration was key to penicillin's success. British scientists laid the groundwork, but American industry and wartime partnerships enabled large-scale production. This cooperation laid the foundation for future cross-border scientific collaboration. Penicillin also prompted ethical discussions around equitable access, prioritization, and the role of governments and pharmaceutical companies. These issues remain relevant today as new medical technologies emerge. Its development highlights the importance of public investment in basic science. Much of the foundational research received government and university funding without immediate commercial promise. In the long run, this investment yielded immense public health and economic benefits and supports ongoing arguments for funding basic research. Culturally, penicillin was widely celebrated. Fleming, Florey, and Chain received the Nobel Prize in 1945, and the drug was featured in news, books, and films. Its story inspired many to pursue careers in science and medicine, and it became a symbol of hope and innovation. Today, though newer antibiotics exist, penicillin remains essential for certain bacterial infections. Its continued use speaks to its lasting effectiveness and legacy. In conclusion, Penicillin's discovery reshaped medicine and society. It stands as a beacon of curiosity, perseverance, and collaboration, reminding us of the power of science to change the world. The light bulb, illuminating the night. Long before cities shimmered with electric light, humanity relied on firelight to dispel the darkness. Torches, candles, and oil lamps. These sources were fleeting, dim, and dangerous. The invention of the light bulb marked a monumental shift, replacing shadow with clarity and ushering in a new era of safety, productivity, and progress. The story of the light bulb is not merely about innovation, but also about persistence, cooperation, and the transformation of human life. The path to electric lighting began in the early 1800s. English scientist Humphrey Davy first demonstrated electric light using an arc lamp in 1802. Though bright, it was impractical, producing intense heat and rapidly consuming materials. Many inventors built on Davy's work, each edging closer to a viable solution. In 1841, Warren de la Rue used a platinum filament in a vacuum, but the material's cost hindered widespread adoption. Advances in vacuum technology and electrical infrastructure throughout the 19th century set the stage for further breakthroughs. Thomas Edison is most commonly credited with perfecting the light bulb. By 1879, he had created a carbon filament bulb that lasted 14 hours. Continued improvements soon extended its life to over 1,000 hours. What truly set Edison apart was his creation of a complete lighting system. Generators, switches, sockets, and distribution networks. However, Joseph Swan in England developed a similar bulb independently. Their legal dispute ended in collaboration, highlighting the collective nature of invention. The light bulb's impact was swift and profound. Cities adopted electric streetlights, reducing crime and improving navigation. Factories extended operating hours, fueling industrial growth. Homes, shops, and theaters came alive at night, forever altering human routines. Electric light detached daily life from the sun's cycle, fostering the rise of nightlife and 24-hour economies. The benefits reached far beyond convenience. Better lighting in homes and schools improved literacy and education. Reduced reliance on open flames decreased the risk of fire. Psychologically, light encouraged activity, safety, and optimism. In public health, electric light contributed to cleaner, better ventilated living spaces. Technological evolution didn't stop at the incandescent bulb. Fluorescent lamps, halogens, and compact fluorescents followed, culminating in today's highly efficient LEDs. These bulbs last longer, use less energy, and offer greater flexibility. Smart lighting systems now adjust to time and mood, and integrate with digital devices, extending the bulb's utility into the realm of personalization. Culturally, the bulb reshaped art, design, and architecture. Theaters flourished with dynamic lighting. Artists experimented with new ways to manipulate shadow and form. Interior spaces transformed through varied lighting, enhancing comfort and expression. In literature and media, the bulb became a metaphor for insight and innovation. Industries thrived under electric light. Scientific labs became more productive. Assembly lines ran through the night. Transportation, from cars to airplanes, grew safer and more efficient. Education expanded with longer study hours, and libraries became late-night learning hubs. The light bulb also sparked massive economic and legal shifts. It led to the rise of global electrical companies, and its patents shaped modern intellectual property law. Electrification became a hallmark of national development, especially in rural and developing areas. symbolizing access to modernity and opportunity. Environmental consequences emerged as lighting relied on fossil fuel-powered grids, contributing to pollution and light-related ecosystem disruptions. Light pollution diminished our view of the stars and affected circadian rhythms. This sparked demand for sustainable solutions: solar-powered bulbs, LEDs, and eco-friendly lighting systems. Light's symbolic power remains strong. It represents knowledge, hope, and progress. Today, lighting aids agriculture, medicine, and even data transmission through technologies like Li-Fi. Light therapy treats disorders, and precision lighting supports indoor farming. These innovations show how light continues to serve human needs in evolving ways. Despite its advancements, the awe of a room illuminated by a switch endures. The light bulb didn't just chase away darkness, it redefined time, space, and human potential. It stands as a beacon of ingenuity and a symbol of how simple needs can drive revolutionary change. Through it, we reimagine night not as an end, but as another beginning. The steam engine, powering the Industrial Revolution. The steam engine is one of the most transformative inventions in history, driving the societal shift known as the Industrial Revolution. Before its rise, life was dominated by agrarian economies and powered by manual labor, wind, and water. Progress was constrained by seasonal cycles and geography. The development of steam power broke these limitations, launching a new era of industrialization, urbanization, and economic expansion. Early concepts of steam power date back to antiquity, with devices like Hero of Alexandria's Eolipile, a spinning object driven by steam. However, it wasn't until the late 17th century that practical steam technology emerged. In 1698, Thomas Savery, an English engineer, designed an early steam pump to remove water from flooded coal mines. Though crude and inefficient, Savery's invention initiated a vital phase in steam experimentation. In 1712, Thomas Newcomen improved on this design with an atmospheric engine using a piston and cylinder mechanism. It was more effective at pumping water, becoming widely used in Britain's mining regions. Despite fuel inefficiency and bulkiness, Newcomen's engine marked a critical step in steam-powered machinery. The turning point came with James Watt in the 1760s. A Scottish instrument maker, Watt introduced a separate condenser to reduce energy waste. This made the steam engine more efficient and versatile. Watt partnered with industrialist Matthew Boulton, whose manufacturing capabilities allowed widespread production. Their collaboration brought steam power to a broader industrial audience. The spread of steam engines revolutionized manufacturing. Factories no longer needed to be near water sources. Steam provided a consistent, independent power supply. Industrial centers grew rapidly in new areas, fueling urban expansion. Textile mills, iron foundries, and other industries used steam engines to boost productivity and support large-scale operations. Steam also transformed transportation. Applied to locomotion, steam engines powered railways, opening vast networks across Europe and North America. George Stephenson's locomotives symbolized this change, drastically reducing travel time and connecting markets. Steamships shortened ocean voyages, making global trade faster and more reliable. These advances accelerated cultural exchange, migration, and economic integration. In agriculture, steam mechanized labor-intensive processes. Steam-powered plows and threshers improved efficiency and enabled cultivation of larger plots. Increased productivity supported rising urban populations and reshaped rural life. However, the migration of workers to cities and the decline of traditional crafts disrupted established social structures, ushering in new class dynamics and labor systems. The Industrial Revolution inspired investment in technical education and scientific research. Institutions emerged to train engineers and machinists, and inventors refined existing technologies. The steam engine became not just a machine, but a symbol of human ingenuity and progress. It demonstrated the ability to harness nature for productive use, embodying the era's forward-thinking ethos. However, industrialization brought environmental and health consequences. Steam engines burn coal, producing pollution and contributing to respiratory illnesses in cities. Rivers were contaminated, and landscapes degraded by mining. Though overlooked at the time, these issues foreshadowed future concerns about sustainability. Strategically, steam power gave industrialized nations a competitive edge in warfare and colonization. Steam-powered transport allowed armies to move quickly and supply chains to function efficiently. The British Empire used steam technology to maintain control over its colonies and facilitate the global movement of goods and military assets. Steam technology continued to evolve. Compound engines and high-pressure systems improved performance. Advances in metallurgy and design increased adaptability. Steam engines powered public utilities and early power stations, laying foundations for future electricity and internal combustion engines. By the early 20th century, electricity and oil-powered engines began replacing steam in many areas. Yet, the infrastructure built around steam, factories, railroads, ports, remained essential. The steam engine had transitioned societies from rural economies to industrialized nations, establishing the foundations of the modern world. More than a machine, the steam engine symbolized a shift in human potential. It allowed societies to transcend natural limits and redefine labor, time, and productivity. While it introduced challenges, it also enabled innovation on an unprecedented scale. Today, steam still plays a role in energy generation, especially in nuclear and thermal plants. Its principles are taught in engineering schools. Preserved locomotives remind us of the age when vaporized water powered the engines of progress. In the story of the Industrial Revolution, the steam engine holds a central place. It revolutionized economies, empowered empires, and forever changed how humanity interacts with time, space, and work. It remains a lasting symbol of invention, industry, and transformation. The camera, capturing moments in time. The camera, now a fixture in daily life, has its roots in humanity's enduring desire to preserve fleeting moments. Long before its invention, people attempted to record their surroundings through cave paintings, carvings, and portraits. But it wasn't until light could be harnessed and fixed onto a surface that the modern camera was born, a transformation that revolutionized art, science, and human memory. The principle behind the camera is simple. Light travels in straight lines. Ancient thinkers like Moses and Aristotle observed this through the camera obscura, Latin for dark chamber. This device projected an external scene onto a surface inside a darkened room via a small hole. Though the image was inverted, it illustrated a vital optical process that would later underpin all photography. Initially, a tool for artists to trace landscapes and figures, the camera obscura showed light's power to replicate reality. During the Renaissance, figures like Leonardo da Vinci refined the camera obscura, aided by lenses that improved image clarity. Yet, the tool still couldn't preserve images. That began to change in the early 19th century, when inventors experimented with light-sensitive chemicals to fix images. In the 1820s, Joseph Nicephore Niepce, created the first permanent photograph using a pewter plate coated with bitumen of Judea. After hours of exposure, the image, though crude, marked a monumental step, a moment frozen in time by light. Niepce called this heliography, or sunwriting. Louis Daguerre, Niepce's collaborator, built on this method. In 1839, he introduced the daguerreotype, which used a silver-coated copper plate and mercury vapor to produce sharp images. The public quickly embraced it. For the first time, people could see lifelike portraits and distant scenes with astonishing clarity. That same year, William Henry Fox Talbot introduced the calotype in England. Unlike the one-of-a-kind daguerreotype, Talbot's process created a paper negative, allowing multiple positive prints. Though less sharp, calotypes made photography reproducible, central to its future popularity. Photography soon moved beyond science and art into society. Portrait studios flourished, and photography became a tool for families, travelers, and journalists. During the American Civil War, photographers like Matthew Brady captured vivid scenes of battle, changing how the public perceived war. Technological progress followed. Gelatin dry plates in the 1870s and 80s made cameras more portable and eliminated the need for on-site development. Photography was no longer limited to professionals. Hobbyists began taking it up. A breakthrough came in 1888 when George Eastman released the Kodak camera. A simple box with roll film, it came with the slogan, "You press the button, we do the rest." This brought photography to the masses and laid the foundation for snapshots and the motion picture industry. In the 20th century, cameras evolved rapidly. Smaller formats like 35mm film emerged. During both World Wars, photography was used for reconnaissance and documentation. Photojournalists captured powerful images that shaped opinion, from the Great Depression to civil rights movements. Color photography gained popularity mid-century. While early color processes existed, Kodachrome film made it practical and expressive, offering new creative possibilities. The digital revolution later transformed photography. Digital cameras allowed instant image capture, limitless storage, and advanced editing. Software gave photographers more control, and the internet enabled instant global sharing. In the 21st century, the smartphone camera changed everything again. These powerful, everyday devices let anyone capture and share moments, birthdays, protests, sunsets, in real time, creating an explosion of visual content. Despite advances, photography's essence remains: to see, feel, and preserve. Cameras record weddings, childhoods, and quiet moments. They reflect society and reveal unseen worlds. Cameras have become vital storytelling tools. In journalism, cinema, and science, they convey powerful narratives. Scientific imaging, from cells to galaxies, expands human understanding and wonder. As AI and computational photography advance, new visual possibilities emerge. Algorithms enhance images and blend real and virtual visuals. The future may offer immersive experiences beyond traditional photography. From silver plates to digital sensors, the camera has remained a witness to history. It records revolutions, discoveries, sorrow, and joy. As technology evolves, so too does the camera, ever ready to capture the next moment for all time. The automobile, redefining travel and industry. The invention of the automobile stands as one of the most transformative milestones in human history. From early prototypes to today's advanced machines, the automobile has revolutionized how societies function, how economies grow, and how people experience the world. Its development reflects a journey of mechanical innovation and industrial evolution, reshaping travel and redefining civilization. In the late 19th century, amid industrial advancement, inventors experimented with steam, electricity, and internal combustion engines. The latter became central to the automobile. In 1886, Carl Benz patented what is widely considered the first practical motor car, his three-wheeled motor wagon. Powered by a single-cylinder four-stroke engine, it marked the beginning of a world in motion. The automobile's early years were defined by experimentation and refinement. Innovators in Europe and the United States developed key features like pneumatic tires, the electric starter, and the differential gear. Despite these advances, cars remained luxury items for the wealthy. That changed with mass production. Henry Ford revolutionized manufacturing with the moving assembly line in 1913. Though he didn't invent the automobile, his Model T, launched in 1908, was affordable, durable, and simple. Ford's methods drastically cut production costs and made car ownership achievable for ordinary families. This shift brought widespread societal change. The rise of the automobile reshaped cities and rural areas. Roads were paved and highways constructed, enabling suburban growth and altering urban planning. People could now live farther from their jobs. In the countryside, farmers gained better access to markets, transforming agriculture and connecting remote regions to economic centers. Automobile-related industries boomed. Demand for steel, rubber, glass, and petroleum surged. Jobs multiplied across sectors, from manufacturing to service stations. The car became a symbol of industrial capitalism, reshaping consumer behavior and promoting a culture of ownership and mobility that persists today. Culturally, the automobile became a symbol of freedom. For the first time, people could travel long distances independently. In the United States, the car and the open road became icons of personal liberty and exploration. Literature, film, and music embraced the car not just as transportation, but as metaphor and identity. Yet the automobile's rise brought challenges. Increased traffic led to accidents and the need for safety regulations. Environmental concerns also emerged. Exhaust emissions polluted the air, and reliance on fossil fuels raised ecological alarms. These issues sparked early debates about sustainability and technological responsibility. The automobile also played a vital role during World Wars I and II. Vehicles adapted for military use contributed to war efforts. Post-war, innovations made during conflict returned to civilian life. Car ownership surged, particularly in North America and Europe. Road trips, drive-in theaters, and motels became cultural norms, reflecting a mobile society. By mid-century, the global auto industry had matured. European brands like Mercedes-Benz and Fiat, and Japanese makers like Toyota and Honda, gained prominence. Each brought distinct design philosophies: Germany's engineering precision, Japan's efficiency, and Italy's flair. Global competition drove innovation and improved quality, expanding choices for consumers. The 1970s oil crises exposed vulnerabilities in fuel dependence. This prompted a shift towards smaller, more efficient cars and spurred interest in alternative energy. Early electric vehicles struggled, but the idea of cleaner transport began to take root. Emissions regulations and fuel economy standards followed, reshaping design priorities. The late 20th century saw digital technology enter the car. Microprocessors enhance engine control, safety, and fuel economy. Anti-lock brakes, airbags, and traction control became standard. Cars grew smarter, with digital dashboards, GPS systems, and onboard computers redefining driver experience. In the 21st century, the automobile is undergoing a new transformation. Environmental awareness, urban congestion, and technological innovation are reshaping transport. Electric vehicles have entered the mainstream, led by pioneers like Tesla and adopted by traditional automakers. These vehicles challenge the dominance of internal combustion and offer zero-emission driving. Self-driving technology is also advancing. Autonomous vehicles promise to redefine mobility by enhancing safety and efficiency. Meanwhile, shared mobility through ride-hailing and car-sharing challenges traditional ownership models, especially in cities. Governments are investing in smart infrastructure to support this evolving ecosystem. The automobile's history is one of continual reinvention. From its mechanical beginnings to its digital future, it has influenced warfare, peace, commerce, culture, and daily life. It is not just a machine, but a convergence of technology, economy, and identity. Despite its downsides, pollution, accidents, and resource use, the automobile remains essential. Each generation must adapt it to current values and needs. As we move toward cleaner, smarter, and more equitable mobility, the car continues to inspire innovation and redefine how we move through the world. The radio, a new era of mass communication. The invention of the radio marked a transformative moment in human communication. At the dawn of the 20th century, technological advances were accelerating, and among the most significant was the use of electromagnetic waves to transmit sound. This innovation wasn't instantaneous. It was built on years of scientific experimentation by pioneers who envisioned sending voices wirelessly across great distances. Radio became more than a convenience. It was a powerful tool that reshaped politics, culture, education, and everyday life. In the late 1800s, scientists like James Clerk Maxwell and Heinrich Hertz laid the theoretical groundwork. Maxwell predicted radio waves. Hertz proved their existence. Guglielmo Marconi brought theory to practice, famously transmitting signals across the Atlantic in 1901. This milestone signaled the birth of wireless communication and stunned the world. Initially, radio served military and maritime purposes. Ships could now stay connected to land, improving safety and coordination. During World War I, radio became essential for command and control. After the war, its civilian potential grew. Innovators began exploring how to deliver news, music, and entertainment directly to the public. By the early 1920s, broadcasting began. In the US, Pittsburgh's KDKA aired the 1920 presidential election results, revealing radio's ability to connect large audiences instantly. This sparked a rapid rise in radio stations, driven by public interest and commercial promise. The 1920s and 1930s became radio's golden age. Families gathered to listen to dramas, comedies, music, and news. Radio voices became trusted companions. Orson Welles' 1938 broadcast of the War of the Worlds, which sparked panic, showed the medium's powerful influence on the imagination and public opinion. Governments also recognized its value. Leaders used radio to speak directly to citizens. Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats calmed and inspired Americans during economic hardship and war. Worldwide, radio became a tool for diplomacy, propaganda, and education, reshaping how leaders communicated with the public. As radio gained popularity, technology improved. Better receivers, clearer signals, and regulated frequencies made broadcasts more reliable. Advertising became radio's economic engine. Sponsored shows, jingles, and branded content merged entertainment with marketing, changing consumer behavior and media business models. Radio expanded cultural awareness. People could hear foreign music, speeches, and news, enhancing global understanding. During conflict, it became a propaganda tool. In World War II, stations like the BBC and Voice of America delivered strategic messages and shaped public morale. Even as television emerged, radio adapted. The 1950s saw the rise of the transistor, making radios portable and affordable. No longer confined to living rooms, radios accompanied people in cars, workplaces, and on the go. Disc jockeys and format programming fueled music revolutions, giving rise to new genres and subcultures. Education benefited too. Radio delivered lessons and public service messages to remote communities. In rural areas without schools, it became a vital source of knowledge. Governments and NGOs used it to spread information on health, agriculture, and civic issues. Despite new media, radio remained relevant. FM broadcasting improved sound quality, attracting music lovers. Talk radio became a platform for political and social debate. Community radio gave local voices a platform, supporting diversity and grassroots engagement. With the digital age came reinvention. Streaming and podcasts extended radio's reach. Users could now listen on demand anywhere. Traditional stations coexist with digital platforms, offering live shows, curated playlists, and new storytelling formats. The core idea, connection through sound, remains strong. Radio's strength lies in its simplicity and accessibility. Unlike other media, it requires minimal infrastructure. A small battery-powered set can deliver information and comfort across borders and income levels. In emergencies, radio often remains the most reliable lifeline. The story of radio is one of human ingenuity and the desire to connect. From early scientific discoveries to global broadcasts, it transformed isolated individuals into a shared audience. In a noisy digital world, radio still offers something rare: space to listen, reflect, and connect. Few inventions have had such enduring impact. Radio opened access to information, shaped culture, and redefined communication. Its waves have carried music, messages, and meaning. As long as voices seek to be heard and ears are willing to listen, radio will remain a vital thread in the fabric of human connection. Artificial intelligence shaping the future of innovation. Artificial intelligence, AI, is one of the most transformative forces of the 21st century, fundamentally changing how societies operate and how human progress unfolds. Once a concept relegated to science fiction, AI is now embedded in daily life. From recommendation systems to autonomous vehicles and advanced medical diagnostics. The origins of AI trace back to early philosophical inquiries about human thought and whether it could be replicated mechanically. These ideas evolved into formal studies in the mid-20th century, when early computer scientists began developing programs that mimicked human cognition. Though the field experienced periods of slow growth, it steadily advanced toward the goal of intelligent machines. With rising computational power and the availability of big data, AI evolved rapidly. Machine learning, and later deep learning, enabled systems to improve performance over time without explicit programming. These innovations have catalyzed change across nearly every sector, allowing for breakthroughs previously thought impossible. In healthcare, AI assists in diagnostics, treatment planning, and patient monitoring. Algorithms trained on medical data can detect conditions like cancer and heart disease with exceptional accuracy. These tools augment human expertise, reduce errors, and enable more personalized care. Industry and manufacturing have also been reshaped. AI-driven automation has revolutionized production lines, while predictive maintenance minimizes downtime by forecasting equipment failures. These changes enhance efficiency and reduce costs across operations. Education benefits from AI through adaptive learning systems that personalize instruction. These tools assess student progress in real time, catering content to individual needs. AI also supports accessibility, language translation, and administrative efficiency. In finance, AI powers fraud detection, risk analysis, and customer service. Algorithms analyze vast datasets in seconds, enabling more informed decisions and faster responses. Chatbots and virtual assistants have streamlined user interactions, enhancing customer satisfaction. Transportation has seen major advances, especially in autonomous vehicles. AI enables self-driving cars to navigate safely, potentially reducing accidents and expanding mobility. AI also optimizes logistics, from route planning to inventory management, improving supply chains worldwide. Communication and entertainment have been redefined by natural language processing. Voice assistants, real-time translation, and content recommendation systems are all powered by AI. These tools enhance convenience and enable new forms of expression, including AI-generated music and art. Governments are integrating AI into decision-making, resource allocation, and public service delivery. However, these advances come with ethical concerns. The use of AI in surveillance raises issues around privacy and civil liberties. Ensuring transparency and fairness is essential for public trust. Bias in AI systems is another challenge. Algorithms trained on biased data can produce discriminatory outcomes in areas like hiring, lending, and policing. Addressing this requires a focus on explainable and fair AI, along with standardized practices to prevent unintended harm. Job displacement due to automation is a pressing concern. While AI creates new industries, it also replaces roles involving repetitive tasks. Reskilling workers and reforming education are critical to preparing for an AI-driven economy, where creativity and human judgment become increasingly valuable. Despite these issues, AI continues to inspire optimism. Researchers aim to develop artificial general intelligence, AGI, systems that match or exceed human intelligence across tasks. While AGI is still theoretical, its pursuit fuels advancements that benefit current technologies. The race for AI leadership has intensified globally. Nations invest heavily in AI research and infrastructure to gain economic and strategic advantages. This underscores the need for international cooperation and ethical guidelines to ensure AI serves all of humanity. AI is pivotal in tackling global challenges like climate change, pandemics, and food security. It enables predictive modeling, optimized agriculture, and disease surveillance. These capabilities enhance crisis response and promote sustainable development. Cultural perceptions of AI are evolving. While early narratives portrayed AI as a threat, today it is increasingly seen as a collaborator. Art, literature, and cinema explore human-machine relationships, encouraging a balanced perspective of both promise and risk. Looking ahead, AI's impact will expand into areas like personalized medicine, space exploration, and smart city planning. Technologies such as AI-powered accessibility tools and urban analytics can improve quality of life and inclusivity. Environmental sustainability is also becoming a consideration in AI development. Green computing practices and energy-efficient systems aim to reduce the carbon footprint of AI technologies. Pharmaceutical companies, policymakers, and developers all have roles to play in ensuring AI development aligns with public good. Open source collaboration, responsible innovation, and inclusive governance are key to equitable access. The satellite, enabling global communication and observation. The satellite, a symbol of human ingenuity, ranks among the most transformative inventions of the modern age. Emerging from aerospace engineering, physics, and geopolitical ambition, satellites have revolutionized communication, observation, and our understanding of Earth and space. From their Cold War origins to their current ubiquity, they are essential in civil, commercial, and military spheres. The journey began with the Soviet Union's launch of Sputnik 1 on October 4th, 1957. This small beeping sphere marked humanity's first successful escape from Earth's gravity. Its launch shocked the world and sparked a technological race that fueled decades of innovation. Sputnik and its successors demonstrated engineering prowess and revealed space as a new strategic domain. One of the earliest and most impactful satellite applications was communication. Before satellites, long-distance connections relied on cables and radio signals, both limited by geography and weather. The launch of Telstar in 1962 changed that by enabling real-time transatlantic TV broadcasts and calls, shrinking the globe and fostering cultural and economic ties. Satellites soon became vital tools for observation. Weather satellites like Tyros and GOES allowed real-time monitoring of global atmospheric conditions, improving forecasts and disaster preparedness. Environmental satellites track deforestation, glacier retreat, ocean temperatures, and pollution. They provide critical data for combating climate change and managing Earth's resources. Navigation also transformed. GPS, developed by the US military, became a daily tool for civilians. It guides aircraft, ships, and drivers with pinpoint accuracy. Similar systems, GLONASS, Russia, Galileo, EU, and Beidou, China, reinforce the global importance of satellite-based positioning and timing. Satellites expanded our view of space. Telescopes like Hubble bypass atmospheric distortion to capture breathtaking images of distant galaxies and cosmic phenomena. These insights deepen our understanding of the universe and inspire science, philosophy, and art. They remind us of our place in the cosmos. In defense and intelligence, satellites are indispensable. Reconnaissance satellites monitor troop movements, infrastructure, and natural disasters. These tools support diplomacy and security, while raising debates over surveillance and privacy. The balance between protection and personal freedom is a pressing issue in the satellite age. Satellites enhance education and disaster response. In remote areas, they enable distance learning. During crises, earthquakes, fires, floods, they offer real-time imagery to guide emergency efforts and assess damage. When ground systems fail, satellites often remain the only communication link, saving lives and aiding recovery. Miniaturization has ushered in a new satellite era. CubeSats and nanosatellites, once academic projects, now conduct imaging, research, and tech testing. Their affordability has democratized space, letting private firms and developing countries participate, accelerating global innovation. Private companies have rapidly entered the satellite arena. Firms like SpaceX, Amazon, and OneWeb are deploying constellations to provide global internet. These efforts could bridge the digital divide, but also raise concerns about orbital congestion and space debris. International cooperation is essential to maintain sustainable access to space. Satellites also influence global culture. They enable live broadcasts of major events, encourage cross-cultural collaboration, and amplify voices in remote regions. They're not just relays, they're tools of unity and shared experience in an interconnected world. Agriculture has benefited too. Satellites support precision farming by tracking crop health, soil conditions, and weather. This enhances yield, reduces environmental harm, and supports food security across regions. Looking forward, satellites will continue evolving. AI, advanced propulsion, and quantum communication are on the horizon. Satellites will support lunar and Martian missions, act as interplanetary relays, and may power space-based solar energy systems. Their influence is extending well beyond Earth. In conclusion, satellites are far more than machines orbiting Earth. They are powerful instruments of progress, enabling global communication, safeguarding the environment, guiding navigation, and expanding cosmic understanding. As they continue shaping life on Earth and beyond, satellites remind us that exploration, cooperation, and innovation are essential to human advancement. The compass, navigating the world. From the earliest days of exploration, direction, and orientation have been essential to human progress. Long before GPS and digital maps, people relied on the stars, the land, and eventually, tools like the compass. This simple yet revolutionary device transformed trade, exploration, and cultural exchange. Its evolution reflects not only technological ingenuity, but a shared human drive to move beyond the known horizon. The story of the compass begins in ancient China, a society rich in scientific thought. As early as the Han Dynasty, magnetized lodestones were observed to align north-south. Initially used in geomancy and fortune-telling, their navigational potential was not realized until the Song Dynasty. Chinese mariners began using magnetized needles floating in water to indicate direction, enabling navigation across open seas and enhancing maritime confidence. This breakthrough revolutionized navigation. Sailors could now voyage more safely over long distances, especially in poor visibility or featureless waters. The compass enabled China to expand maritime trade across the Indian Ocean. As the technology spread westward through the Islamic world, it was refined and integrated with astronomical navigation and advanced mapmaking. Islamic scholars played a vital role in the compass's development. By translating Chinese texts and conducting their own observations, they improved magnetic tools and contributed to broader navigational science. Centers of learning like Baghdad and Cairo nurtured innovation, helping transmit compass knowledge to Europe through trade and the Crusades. By the 13th century, European mariners were using dry compasses with pivoting needles in protective cases. These became indispensable during the Age of Discovery. Explorers such as Columbus, Magellan, and da Gama depended on them to cross uncharted oceans, expanding empires and initiating global trade and cultural exchanges. As seafaring empires rose, the compass became more advanced. The dry compass evolved into the liquid compass, where a magnetized needle floated in fluid, reducing friction and improving accuracy. Better materials and engineering made compasses more reliable on moving ships. This precision supported exploration, military strategy, commerce, and scientific missions to remote parts of the world. Beyond maritime use, the compass influenced land exploration and map-making. Surveyors and travelers used it to chart forests, deserts, and mountains, helping build detailed maps. The compass became a bridge between personal orientation and global spatial awareness, encouraging a more connected worldview. The compass also shaped scientific thought. During the Renaissance, interest in magnetism grew. Scholars like Petrus Peregrinus and William Gilbert studied magnetic forces. Gilbert's theory that Earth is a giant magnet laid the groundwork for modern geomagnetism. The compass thus served not only as a navigator's tool, but as a window into natural laws. During the Industrial Revolution, the compass advanced further. Mass production made it cheaper and more widely available. Railroads used it for surveying and route planning. Polar explorers relied on advanced compasses during quests to chart the planet's most extreme environments. In the 20th century, aviation gave the compass a new role. Aircraft required precise navigation, especially during long flights over oceans or remote terrain. Pilots use magnetic compasses and gyroscopic indicators. Even with radio navigation and GPS, magnetic compasses remain crucial as reliable, power-free tools. Today, digital compasses in smartphones, watches, and vehicles use magnetometers to determine direction. The principle, Earth's magnetic field guiding orientation, remains unchanged. Despite satellite tech, traditional compasses are still used in hiking, sailing, military, and survival scenarios for their simplicity and reliability. Symbolically, the compass represents direction, discovery, and guidance. It appears in literature, art, and philosophy as a metaphor for personal journey and moral clarity. Its value lies not just in where it takes us physically, but in how it inspires exploration and curiosity. Historically, the compass fostered cultural exchange. Its spread across continents shows how societies adopt and enhance shared knowledge. Whether aboard Chinese junks, Arab dhows, or European caravels, the compass served as a shared instrument in humanity's quest to connect distant lands. The story of the compass mirrors that of civilization, a tale of movement, learning, and the urge to understand the world. As we enter the digital age, the compass remains a reminder of our origins. It is a symbol of the human capacity to find direction amid the unknown. Across cultures and centuries, the compass has woven itself into global history. More than a tool, it reflects the enduring spirit of exploration. In every era of change, it has pointed the way, not just across seas and continents, but across boundaries of knowledge and imagination. Plastic, versatile material, environmental challenge. Plastic, a synthetic material derived from petrochemicals, is one of the most transformative innovations of the modern age. Its history dates to the mid-19th century, when inventors sought alternatives to natural resources like ivory and shellac. In 1856, Alexander Parkes developed Parkesine, the first semi-synthetic plastic, followed by Leo Baekeland's Bakelite in the early 20th century, the first fully synthetic plastic. Moldable and durable, Bakelite marked the beginning of a material revolution, ushering in new industrial possibilities. Plastic's appeal lies in its adaptability. It can be rigid or flexible, transparent or opaque, waterproof, lightweight, and corrosion-resistant. These qualities proved invaluable during World War II, as plastic was used in aircraft, packaging, and medical supplies. After the war, industries and consumers embraced plastic for its affordability and convenience. It quickly replaced materials like glass, wood, and metal across industries: automobiles, textiles, construction, and household goods. By the 1950s and 60s, colorful plastic products symbolized post-war prosperity and rising consumerism. Plastic democratized access to goods, bringing kitchenware, toys, and furniture into homes at every income level. Its role in packaging transformed the food industry, improving hygiene, extending shelf life, and enabling global distribution. However, plastic's durability, the very trait that made it a marvel, also triggered an environmental crisis. Plastic does not biodegrade. It breaks down into microplastics that persist for centuries. By the 1970s, scientists observed plastic pollution accumulating in oceans and landscapes. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a floating mass of plastic waste, came to symbolize this growing issue. Wildlife is significantly affected. Marine animals ingest plastic debris, mistaking it for food. Sea turtles often consume plastic bags, thinking they are jellyfish. Birds and fish become entangled in discarded fishing lines and rings. Microplastics have even been detected in plankton and whales, infiltrating the food chain from the bottom up. Humans are not immune to plastic's effects. Microplastics have been found in drinking water, salt, and air. Research is ongoing, but concerns are growing about potential health risks such as endocrine disruption and chemical toxicity from plastic additives. The omnipresence of plastic in daily life raises urgent questions about its long-term impact on human health. Plastic production is also a driver of climate change. Most plastics are made from fossil fuels, and their manufacture emits substantial greenhouse gases. Incinerating plastic waste releases pollutants, worsening environmental damage. As the world works to lower carbon emissions, addressing the footprint of plastic production and disposal becomes increasingly critical. Despite its drawbacks, global plastic production continues to rise. Over 400 million tons are produced annually, much of it for single-use products, packaging, straws and utensils, used briefly and discarded. This throwaway culture overwhelms waste systems, especially in regions lacking recycling infrastructure. Recycling, once seen as a solution, has proven complex. Some plastics are non-recyclable due to contamination or mixed materials. Even recyclable plastics often degrade in quality after processing. Many plastics marked for recycling are incinerated or exported to countries with weaker regulations, where they can still end up polluting the environment. Efforts to reduce plastic pollution have gained momentum. Governments have introduced bans on items like plastic bags and straws. Companies are redesigning packaging and exploring alternatives. Bioplastics, made from renewable materials like cornstarch, show promise, though they face challenges with decomposition and recycling compatibility. Grassroots movements also contribute significantly. Community cleanups, educational campaigns, and zero-waste lifestyles promote sustainable choices. Artists and activists use plastic waste to provoke reflection and policy change. These efforts raise awareness, but the scale of the issue demands broader, systemic solutions. Technological advances offer hope. Chemical recycling seeks to break plastics into monomers for better reuse. Scientists are exploring enzymatic and microbial methods to speed up decomposition. Smart materials designed to degrade in specific environments are also in development. But these solutions require investment and policy support to scale. The plastic crisis intersects with broader issues of consumption and development. In many low-income regions, plastic enables access to essentials like clean water and medicine. Reduction policies must be context-sensitive and equitable. Global cooperation is vital to improve systems and share solutions. Education is key to lasting change. Teaching environmental literacy in schools shapes attitudes and behavior. Public campaigns can influence consumer choices and pressure industries to innovate responsibly. Plastic's story is a triumph of ingenuity and a cautionary tale. To protect future generations, we must rethink our reliance on plastic. balancing human needs with environmental stewardship. The refrigerator, revolutionizing food storage. The story of the refrigerator is one of human ingenuity and the persistent pursuit of better solutions to age-old problems. Before refrigeration, food preservation relied on methods like salting, smoking, drying, pickling, and fermenting. These methods, while somewhat effective, limited diet, taste, and food longevity. Societies were bound by climate and seasonality, which determined what could be stored and for how long. Refrigeration transformed this, reshaping kitchens, industries, and lifestyles worldwide. Initially, ice was the only cooling agent, harvested in winter and stored in ice houses. This method was labor-intensive and limited to colder regions or those with access to shipped ice. As cities expanded and demanded fresh food year-round, the limitations of natural ice spurred the need for reliable, artificial preservation. Artificial cooling began in the 18th century. William Cullen demonstrated refrigeration in 1748, though it had no practical application. In the 19th century, inventors like Jacob Perkins and John Gorrie improved the technology. Gorrie used cooling in hospitals, believing cool air aided healing. Though underappreciated, his innovations laid the groundwork for future progress. By the late 1800s, refrigeration had commercial applications. Breweries and meatpacking plants adopted mechanical cooling, enabling year-round storage and long-distance transport. Refrigerated rail cars and ships supported global trade in fresh goods, reducing dependence on local harvests and allowing diets to become more varied and nutritious. Domestic refrigeration emerged in the early 20th century. Initially large and expensive, early models used hazardous gases like ammonia. These risks limited adoption. However, improvements in compressors, insulation, and safer refrigerants made appliances affordable and reliable. By the 1920s and 30s, electric refrigerators from brands like Frigidaire and General Electric became household staples, representing modern living and efficiency. As technology advanced, so did refrigerator design. Features like freezers, automatic defrosting, and adjustable shelving improved usability. The refrigerator became a kitchen centerpiece, influencing home design and habits. Shopping trips decreased, meal planning became easier, and diets grew more diverse. Beyond homes, refrigeration transformed agriculture, allowing farmers to store crops at peak ripeness and reduce waste. In fishing, it preserved catches from sea to market. Supermarkets thrived on large refrigeration systems, offering year-round fresh food and transforming retail. Cultural practices also shifted. Refrigeration enabled bulk buying, storing leftovers, and preparing meals ahead of time. Frozen foods became mainstream, and efficient distribution improved public health by broadening nutritional options and reducing food costs. However, challenges emerged. Early refrigerants were toxic and flammable. CFCs replaced them, but were later linked to ozone depletion. The 1987 Montreal Protocol led to eco-friendly alternatives like HFCs and low-impact refrigerants, pushing manufacturers towards sustainability. Today's refrigerators feature advanced technologies: temperature zoning, humidity control, and smart connectivity. Digital displays, inventory tracking, and home automation integration have made refrigerators active tools in household management. Refrigeration's global impact is far-reaching. It democratized access to fresh food, even in remote areas. Solar-powered models support food security and vaccine preservation, where electricity is scarce. Portable cooling systems transport temperature-sensitive medicines, making refrigeration vital to healthcare worldwide. Historically, Refrigeration aided urbanization, military logistics, and even space exploration. It revolutionized food systems, increased resilience, and improved individual well-being. From spoilage prevention to enabling global trade, refrigeration deeply influences modern life. Though often unnoticed, the refrigerator symbolizes innovation. Its quiet operation hides its powerful role in shaping how we eat, live, and care for our environment. Future developments, AI, biometric sensors, and sustainable materials will make refrigeration smarter and greener. In a world facing climate change and population growth, refrigeration remains crucial. Cold chain logistics, renewable energy systems, and circular designs will guide its future. Once a luxury, the refrigerator is now a pillar of sustainability, health, and global equity. From ice houses to smart appliances, the refrigerator's journey mirrors our quest to improve life. More than a machine, it is a revolutionary force, cooling the past, preserving the present, and preparing for the future. Solar panels, harnessing clean, renewable energy. Since ancient times, humanity has revered the sun as a vital source of life. From Egyptian pyramids to Incan rituals, the sun symbolized warmth, growth, and time. But only in the modern era did humans begin harnessing its energy technologically. The evolution of solar panels reflects a journey of curiosity, innovation, and the pursuit of harmony with nature. The photovoltaic effect, discovered in 1839 by French physicist Alexandre Edmond Becquerel, revealed that certain materials produce electricity when exposed to light. This early discovery remained largely theoretical until 1954, when Bell Labs developed the first efficient silicon solar cell. At 6% efficiency, it could power devices and marked a turning point. Solar panels soon became essential in space exploration, powering satellites in the sun-rich vacuum of space. Despite promise, early solar panels were costly and inefficient for daily use. The 1970s oil crisis spurred interest in alternative energy, and governments funded solar research. Over time, technological improvements and falling costs made solar increasingly viable. Countries like Germany and Japan led the way with national renewable energy strategies, catalyzing global adoption. By the 21st century, solar panels transformed from niche to mainstream. Efficiency improved, with some models surpassing 22%, and innovations like bifacial panels and thin film cells expanded applications. Most significantly, costs plummeted, making solar one of the cheapest energy sources in many regions. Solar's decentralized nature enabled use in rural areas where grid access was limited. In Africa and Asia, small solar systems brought electricity to communities, powering lights, communications, and refrigeration. This flexibility made solar a tool for equity and development. Environmentally, solar panels offered a path to reduce emissions and air pollution. As the climate crisis escalated, solar emerged as a moral and practical imperative. Cities began integrating solar into buildings and infrastructure. Building integrated photovoltaics allowed solar elements in facades and windows, reflecting a shift toward sustainability. Economically, the solar industry became a major employer, with jobs spanning manufacturing, installation, and maintenance. Countries investing in solar saw environmental and economic gains. China became a global leader in panel production, reshaping supply chains and accelerating innovation. Storage technologies, especially lithium-ion batteries, became essential complements. They allowed excess daytime energy to be stored for nighttime use, enabling solar to function off-grid. Combined solar and storage systems now replace fossil-fueled peaker plants, offering clean energy on demand. Public awareness and education drove adoption. Incentives like tax credits, feed-in tariffs, and leasing models lowered the barrier to entry, helping solar systems become household fixtures and symbols of self-reliance. Challenges remain. Panel production involves mining materials like silicon and silver, raising environmental and ethical concerns. Disposal and recycling of aging panels also need attention. A life cycle approach is vital to preserve solar's sustainability benefits. Solar energy plays a key role in global climate goals. Countries embed solar targets into national energy strategies. Massive farms and floating installations expand reach while reducing land use conflicts. Solar is increasingly used in transportation. Charging stations for electric vehicles and solar highways are reshaping mobility. In agriculture, solar-powered pumps and cold storage enhance productivity and food security. In education, solar installations serve as teaching tools. Students learn energy science and stewardship through system data. This fosters a generation equipped to face climate challenges with real-world solutions. Smart grids, AI, and IoT technologies are improving efficiency. AI predicts sunlight, optimizes performance, and detects faults. Drones inspect systems, minimizing downtime. Cybersecurity is essential as systems connect digitally. Culturally, solar panels symbolize modern values: environmental responsibility, innovation, and resilience. Internationally, solar energy promotes cooperation through aid and alliances like the International Solar Alliance. Solar aesthetics are evolving. Designers create colored, transparent, and artistic panels integrated into buildings and public art. Solar benches and bus stops blend function and form. Most importantly, solar energy democratizes power. Communities can generate their own electricity, becoming active energy participants. This decentralization fosters autonomy and innovation. Looking ahead, solar panels will be central to climate adaptation. They offer stability, powering microgrids, purification, and disaster relief. From ancient worship to modern grids, solar energy continues guiding humanity toward a cleaner, fairer future.